Welcome to She Rises Through It, a space for honest becoming, slow growth, and the unfiltered middle of motherhood, healing, business, and building a life that actually feels good. I'm Sydney, and this podcast is where I reclaim my voice in real time. It's not about doing more, it's about doing it differently. If you're craving real conversations, soulful pauses, and a reminder that you're not alone in the messy becoming, you're in the right place. And just a reminder before we begin, I'm not a medical or mental health professional. Everything shared here is based on my lived experience. Please seek qualified care if you're needing support. You deserve it. You're not behind, you're becoming. Welcome back to She Rises Through It, episode 13. Last week, we sat with forgiveness, not the tidy, check it off the list kind of forgiveness, but the kind that feels like a deep breath after you've been holding it in for years. After 15 years, I finally forgave my dad and really embraced communication that I had with my mom and just recognizing, realizing, releasing, and coming home to my true story of a talking stick. So today we are going to talk a little bit about forgiveness, legacy, and feeling like you're being put into a box that isn't meant for you. It's something that my intuition's been sitting on, and this is the second time I'm recording episode 13 because the first one didn't feel real, didn't feel authentic, and didn't feel like me. And the moment I took a deep breath, I ended up creating this. So let's jump over into episode 13. Welcome back, everyone. Episode 13. I'm excited to be here. I'm exhausted. This is the second go around of me recording this episode after having recorded my karma yoga class this morning. And then I recorded an episode and it didn't sit well with me. It sat like I was rushing through it, like it wasn't thought out, like it wasn't how I was truly feeling, but it was just the rush of emotions, and it was a rush of everything, and throw something together in a pretty package and send it off. The thing is none of this is a pretty package, and that episode, that recording was actually a really hot mess, but it was, we're gonna go da 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 and get it done. It didn't align with me. I ended up calling my husband. I was stressed. I was crying to him, tearing up, just every imposter syndrome coming up in my mind just was hitting me at that moment because I just recorded an episode that didn't feel right. On top of it, recording my karma class this morning, it didn't flow. I mean, it flowed, but it didn't flow. It flowed for me in my messy middle and where I'm at, and that is exactly how I want to show up. However, I forgot words. I forgot pose names. And those are things when you're teaching a class you shouldn't do. I think because I was recording myself, I was just teaching myself. For me, when I'm in my own practice, I can't speak and teach. It's a little bit different. Speak, teach, and move into the asanas. It's so different for me. I can't do that. If I'm going to teach, I'm going to be on the sideline cheering everyone on, guiding them through. And then if I have to showcase a pose, I'm going to showcase a pose. But that was not my recording. So it's been a hot mess, and I'm hoping this episode 13 take 2 turns out a little bit better and really speaks from my heart and speaks to how I'm feeling right now in this moment, in this messy middle of a beautiful disaster, of a beautiful becoming, because it's not easy. And last week we talked about forgiveness, really being able to move forward. Well, ironically, throughout all of that, I had a dream. So after I recorded that podcast, I learned about, is it crescent pose? or half moon. It's half moon. I learned about the philosophy behind it. And I'm going to research it real quick. Half moon philosophy. Because I want to make sure I'm saying the right pose name. Pause. I guess I don't know actually which pose it is because I'm researching it right now. Did a little pause here to research it and nothing's matching up. So I need to do my research on that. But the individual that told me it is an amazing yoga instructor because I was struggling in, was it half moon? I think I was struggling in half moon. And I wonder if she just got her stories crossed. But anywho, lost my train of thought because I was searching on that, trying to figure that out. But speaking with my husband, I don't know where it was, but let's just kind of keep moving forward. Because again, this podcast goes unscripted and it just, as long as it feels right and true to me, it's going to flow and it's going to come out. So, anywho, we talked about forgiveness, conversation with my mom, calling my husband today because things have just been feeling off. And a lot kind of continued to brew with me last week. I'm stepping into this era of relinquishing forgiveness and allowing my past to just start settling. It's not easy. It is not something that is going to just wipe away immediately. Imposter syndrome crept up on me today and it sucked. It sucked when I had to call my husband, telling him all these feelings of how I'm feeling because I was struggling. Because I was letting all the emotions flood me right then and there. And again, I'm an emotional authority. I have to ride through the waves and then I can make more of a clarified decision. In hindsight now, I wasn't allowing that. I wasn't allowing that at all. It's so beautiful to see how this becoming is happening because when we talk about forgiveness and we talk about allowing others to just be and it's okay, so much more kind of starts to unfold. So with forgiveness today, we're going to talk about my mom again. Oh, God. Mom, I love you if you're listening to this because I know you'll probably listen to it. There's so much beauty to my forgiveness to her because she is my mom. She is my rock, my best friend. Here is what I have not told her yet that I journaled on, but I want to share it to her now. But my forgiveness to her. And we're going to jump in to my journal. I'm opening up a very vulnerable part of my heart to you guys right now, and that's my journal. I forgive my mom for she too has gone through a shit ton that I was unaware of, and she too decided to be the change, to protect us children, even if it wasn't the right way. And getting out of an unhappy, scary marriage, standing her ground and finding her worth on her own. And then she found Mark. Mark, if you're listening, I love you. I bet you're listening to this because I bet my mom's playing this. She found someone who stands with her and loves her for her, even in her not so good moments. He allows her to be free and to be herself, and I am incredibly thankful she has been given a new life to be authentically raw as her true, real form that God made her. I forgive you, Mom. You are strong, courageous, beautiful, perfectly imperfect, just like myself, because God created us. Created us the way He wholeheartedly loves us. I forgive you during everything. I don't know what that even means. See, some of my words don't even make sense. You took the stance by getting out of a marriage that dragged you down and didn't allow you to be this true, beautiful woman that God loves each and every day. I want my mom to know that I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. I thank you. That is a Ho'oponopono prayer, a Hawaiian prayer. And know that you're beautiful, strong, worthy, enough, kind, caring, and have a huge heart. And I am a version of you, caring with our whole hearts, even if we get judged, hated, or anything else. You are my mom, you are my best friend, and I forgive you, even if you don't need or believe you need to be forgiven. But I also thank you. I thank you for starting the journey of ending generational trauma where us children have built massive backbones. You started the process, and us children are truly finding that path with our own children. I love you more than you know. It truly hurts my heart when I can sense your full belief isn't there, but that's also because I look up to you. I love you very much, Mom. I forgave her for the fact that, there's two people. I will always say there's two perceptions. There's two people, his side, her side, and the truth, and everything in between. I don't know everything that fully happened. I don't know, and I don't want to know. But I also know that there's things that I've talked about with my mom. Body image is a huge thing that does come off of my mom, but I forgive her. I forgive her for all of that, because what I am learning as a mother is what I'm trying to do is make a change and be the change for my children. And that's what my mom did. My mom stood her ground and got out of something that completely drained her. Granted, were they married for 21 years? Absolutely. So there were some very great times to their marriage. And she says very good times to my childhood. I do not remember a lot of things in my childhood. And again, I mentioned that in my last podcast that it was around my parents' divorce, kind of when I started forgetting everything in the past from like age 14, 15. But she wanted to make that change for us kids, and she did. She started the process, and it's been a journey for all of us. We've all created our own paths. We're all different parents. We're all different individuals, and we're all protecting our sanity and our peace the way we want to protect it, because we want to be an amazing influence on our children. And I think that leads into legacy. I want my boys to be proud of me as their mom, to be like, that's my mom. Look how she showed up authentically herself and allowed all the judgments, but continued to push through and persevere and be everything all at once. And it's fun seeing my kids. It's fun seeing them do silly things, and, they watch us. They watch us like crazy. Whenever I work out or do yoga, Brooks copies me and sees that. Jordan loves being outside, loves doing outside things, and loves fixing things. Brooks loves that. Anytime we say we're going to do something, it's me too. Brooks is me too. Me too. You always hear him behind you coming with you. And I think that's how I want to be as a mom. My mom started that process. My mom started the process of ending and making a change. I want to continue that change, and I don't want to fall backwards. I don't want to allow the universe and all the crazy chatter in this world to just drag me down and not be able to show up for my family, because I want my boys to grow up and not have to hide themselves. I want them to love every silly part about themselves. I want them to embrace their gene mutation, even though they have to go to the doctors all the dang time. I want them to love wholeheartedly with such an open heart and looking at everybody as their own individual and not making any judgments past them, but just allowing. Because when we make judgments, and this is what I'm learning in church, so again, sorry guys, I'm talking about church. When we make judgments about other people, like, that's not ours to do. That is God's right to do. And we just need to allow everyone to be. We can weep for them if it's something that, like, obviously doesn't follow within your beliefs or your religion. But it's not our judgment to place on them. It's not our place to ever tell somebody they're not good enough, that they're not worthy, that they're not beautiful, that they can't accomplish anything, or they're just trash. Like, that's not our place. And that's why I'm building this whole collective, and the She Rises Through It is because I have been in places that have drowned me. I left my job that I actually truly loved. And I talk to a lot of employees still to this day, a lot of employees from the field to the office. And it sucks. It sucks leaving it because I was thriving. I embraced being there. My husband comes home every day and tells me, so and so says hi. Hope you're doing well. So and so says hi. They want to know how you're doing. You need to call each other. You need to check in. And it's like, I was that person. I was that person in that office, checking in, always making sure everyone was doing good, holding space for them, holding heart. And it sucks having to leave a place that you actually truly enjoyed working for, but didn't get respected. And being pushed down, the negativity on my Facebook story last week. I had a very emotional, vulnerable moment of disgracing all of the women at where I was. And, I heard that the drama train started. The drama train started of, did you hear Sydney say this and this and that and whatnot on her story? And it's just like, you know what? There's so many amazing women in that company, but it's the women that's starting that's doing it. And that's why I broke out of it. That is why I wanted to leave. It's because women couldn't cheer each other on. And that's what life's about, is being able to not judge anyone where they're at and just say, hey, you're doing a great job. You are worthy. You deserve your position. I'm not jealous of you. I envy you. So I want to know, what did you do? Let's work together and let's cheer each other on, lift each other up, and create a community that actually uplifts one another, that wants to help each other succeed, that wants to push everyone to the next level and say, let's do this. It's women empowerment instead of being in a male-dominated industry and being such a negative fly going around to everybody. And it's like, stop. Just stop. And that's what I'm building. That is what I'm building with this legacy, is meet everybody where they're at. Don't pass judgments on them, because that is not our place to pass judgments on. Allow them to be where they're at. They're going to heal on their own time. They may not change. They may not want to change. They may always continue to be that person, and just let it be. Let it be. You know what feeds your soul, right? You know what you want in your life and what influence you want to make for your children and how you want them to leave a legacy as well. You get to make the decision to start it. You get to make the decision of, how do I want to show up every day? And does it feel right? If it doesn't feel right, then shift, pivot, do what you need to do. I'm not going to sit here sitting like I'm on a throne that I have it all figured out, because I don't. I'm figuring it out in the middle right now, and it really sucks. And my whole imposter syndrome hitting me today and thinking back of, what did I just do? But it's like, no, put your music on, fold laundry, put laundry away, really just reconnect with your breath, reconnect, and what's on your heart. How do you want to lead your day? And how do you want to go to bed grateful tonight? That's this podcast. That's being real. That's being authentic. That's allowing forgiveness and sharing a story about my mom and how I journaled, and she has no idea about it until she listens to this podcast. Talking about legacy for my children and how, I actually did really love my job. I've loved my job. I had such an amazing time at my job. I did so many amazing things, so many opportunities. I had creative flow and everything, but it was those that were trying to shove me back into a box. And it was those that run around and don't cheer each other on, but drag each other down and start drama. I didn't want to be part of that. Anywho. So it's just creating a legacy I want my children proud of. And when they listen to this podcast someday, they're going to realize, like, their mom's probably crazy, just like all of us moms are. But that I didn't allow myself to fit into a box that I'll never fit into. And for me, it's figuring out my own path. And it's not a path that someone else is picking for me. It's not a set of rules that people are trying to push on me, or a version of myself that is overly polished, overly palatable to everybody. And it's just somebody that's not recognizable. Sometimes these were built based on family expectations, by the culture we live in today. Shoot, women tear each other apart because of society. Look how we grew up, millennials. We grew up with having to have the next best thing and style. And you had to do specific things. And if you didn't fit into that box and you weren't perfect in it. If you weren't this size 4 to 0, you were nothing. And that's not how society is. That's not how we are. So culture, the Western culture, has totally made women hating each other, and we shouldn't hate each other. That's the biggest thing. We are so miraculous. We are magnificent creatures. Everything our bodies can do, everything we can do. I literally can ask my husband, Jordan, I'm very sorry. Calling you out right now. You guys, he does listen to my podcast too. Every week it drops. He listens to it. He is my biggest cheerleader. I can literally ask him to fill up my water. Fill up my water. And 2 seconds later, he'll come to the table with his plate for dinner and milk. And I'll be like, okay, I'll get my water myself. He'll be like, I totally forgot. But women, we can multitask. We can sit our kids down to eat. We can do dishes while watching them eat, while also eating ourselves, or responding mentally in our head to, don't forget the kids need a bath. We need to do laundry tonight. We need to do bedtime story. Huxley needs his antibiotics. Like, we have all these lists running through our minds that we can multitask. And men, I'm sorry, men, from my experience, not saying everyone's experience, I have not been able to meet a man that can multitask. And I came from a male-dominant industry. I could literally go talk to one. I'm thinking of one project manager right now. I love him. I love him to death. He is like such a good friend and such a breath of fresh air and an amazing mentor. I can vividly remember going to his desk, trying to talk with him, and he's sitting there typing, looking at me like, yep, but not even focusing. And then he'll finish his email and he'll be like, what did you just say? And look back up at me and I'm like, dude. But he would engage with you. He would seem like he's focused. And then you're like, let me just wait until you finish. Like, that's all you have to ask me. So us women, we're so miraculous. And I think we have so much connection, but instead of finding that connection, we're tearing each other apart. And I don't want to be a part of that. I hate that. I hate that because we're all on our own journeys ourselves. And when we start releasing judgment and accepting everybody where they're at, we become more empathetic and we start understanding and being able to just sit there and listen and allow and hold space for everybody where they're at. And that's this beautiful journey. That's this journey of becoming and this legacy I want to leave. I want to uplift women. I want women to feel like, oh, I'm in the trenches right now. What do I do? Let's transform your life. Let's go after your dreams. Let's do this. If you're a woman-led brand and you need new branding and clarity and you need authenticity brought, hey, I am your gal. I am here for you. I will cheer you on. I will help you find your voice and guide you through it. I will help with your social media, whatever you need. Like, let's do this together because I succeed if you succeed. You succeed if I succeed. We're going to succeed together. It's about creating a connection, a community, bonding together. And we're all trying to do it all in a man's world. There's so many amazing women bosses out there. so many amazing women bosses. And every time I connect with him or meet up for coffee, it's so empowering and so inspirational. We just sit there and soak each other up, our journeys that we're on, what we're trying to accomplish, where we've come from, and we just allow. We allow. And that's what the collective's about. That's my legacy, is not being set to rules that like the society wants us in. That's not me. It's not going to be me. It's breaking out of a box and building something that feels like kindness, that is actually empowering other women to take their voice back, to take their beliefs and their love back for themselves. And all of everything that I'm doing is wrapped in so much love and warmth. It's all about meeting everybody where they're at, because I'm becoming, and I'm a hot mess express mama. I am a mama trying to build a business that right now, it is slower. It is slower for me, but I'm also intentionally making it slower because I want to make sure it aligns. And I'm a mama that has 2 children that have Gould syndrome. My husband, who has Gould syndrome, so they have the gene mutation. Brooks specifically has small vessel brain disease. So I'm dealing with a household full of medical issues on top of, I kid you not, yesterday in the mail, I had 7 envelopes of mail from our insurance company about medical claims that we're still going through this year. And it's insane. And there are things I can hold space for, and there are things I cannot hold space for. And right now, I can hold so much space for uplifting other women and helping build their businesses and helping them transform their lives like I'm transforming mine, because it's so beautiful. It's so inspirational. There's so much passion, so much love, so much abundance being filled with all of it. And I love it. I love this journey. And I can tell you one thing, I cannot hold space for medical EOBs anymore. I'm so done with them. How much I have to call and fight on them. And you get one stating, please bill primary insurance. And it's back from April. And it's like, why didn't you guys just bill primary insurance then? Why are you moving things around? Like, what is going on? Anywho, this beautiful mess. It's mine. It's mine to hold with forgiveness. It's mine to hold, build, create, and dream a legacy that my boys are going to be proud of. Because someday all of us aren't going to be here, but they'll have my voice to come back to. They'll have this community they'll see that I built. They'll have retreats that they saw that I built. And they'll see a woman rising from the ashes, just like her mama did, and becoming that transformation. So I couldn't thank you enough for being here on another Forgiveness Wild Ride. And I want you to really, truly think of how you want to leave a legacy in this world. Journal it down. How do you want to be remembered in this world? How do you want to leave a legacy for your children? If you have children. If you don't, how do you want to leave a legacy for your friends, your family? Because life is so short. And if one person this year taught me so much, it would be a fellow coworker who passed away at a very young age. My brother's age, actually, 5 years younger than me. And when we went to his funeral, that was the hardest funeral I've ever gone to. Somebody so young, taken so early from us. But the one thing I learned at his funeral and about him is love and live life, and live it full, live it being silly, enjoying everything you want to, and making a purpose and change in this world. That's what he did to his community. That's a legacy I want to live. And actually, his funeral was right before I went to Costa Rica, so he's part of this journey. That helped shift a lot of my mindset of how I wanted to leave this world. Because, man, was that church packed. So packed. I mean, a lot of us were standing because every chair was filled. There were people out the door. They couldn't even be in for the whole service. But there's so much memory for him and his beautiful soul that he left here. And I'm forever grateful knowing him. And I am forever grateful for what he showed me before going off to Costa Rica, even if it was such a very hard, terrible time with his passing. So think about that legacy you want and know that things can change. Your legacy can change. I want you to follow your spark and I want you to experiment with it. I want you to know that you can burn down everything you built and rebuild it. And even then, you can build and rebuild and burn it down. And it's just this beautiful, beautiful becoming. So thank you for being with me here today. Thank you for allowing me to follow my intuition and my feelings of where I wanted this episode to go, because it's messy, it's perfectly imperfect, but it's 10 times better than what I showed up recording earlier, and it just feels right. So when it feels right, follow it. If it doesn't, sit with it and kind of see how it goes. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to go check out sydneyjocelyn.com. Get on my retreat waitlist. Get on the collective. Get weekly emails from me, encouraging emails, just uplifting you, meeting you where you're at, because you are so worthy and deserving of everything in this world. And I want you to know that. I don't ever want you to go a day thinking that you're not good enough, because you are. You are so perfectly imperfect. And I want you to embrace that. Also, follow me on Instagram. I would love you to follow my journey. And me on Instagram as well. I am there for your journey. I so want to hear it. I want to just meet you where you're at and love you where you're at. And that is at Sydney Jocelyn. Everything's Sydney Jocelyn, guys. And if you don't know the spelling, the links will all be in the show notes. And one last final thing, I touched on Gould syndrome. So my children have Gould syndrome. And I'm going to leave this in the show notes as well. We are looking for sponsorships and donations. Gould syndrome is a rare multi-organ disorder. It mainly affects the brain and the small vessels. My children specifically have col4A1. There's also col4A2. There's a lot of different collagen genes, and it's not something that you can just replace with adding collagen. So it's multi-organ, affects the brain, the heart, the eyes, the kidneys, the nervous system. That is something we're learning with Brooks. We are really, truly looking for donations. We are working on building the foundation. We have a brand new board building it. And for children, it's super rare. We're all on different spectrums. Brooks and Huxley are more milder. My husband is mild. We didn't know anything about it until our children. And then there are some other children that have it completely harder than us. And just being able to get your donation and follow us over on social media as well, and follow the stories of all of the beautiful individuals going through it. I mean, it's going to help us so much in raising money, raising awareness, and helping figure out more about this gene mutation and what it can do. It is super rare. It is super new. And I bet there's probably over 1,000 now. When we found out about it a year ago, there was 600 to 800. So it's very rare. And we just would love if you would help us on this journey. I am going to end there. Again, I couldn't thank you enough for showing up. It's my truth, and I'm never going to perfect it or make it look so pretty in a perfect box, because that's not who I am. And I don't want you to show up that way either. I want you to show up raw, authentic, beautiful, and lovable the way you are right now. The one thing I can tell you is we do not rise through it alone. We rise through it together, and you are not behind. You are becoming. Thank you for being here. If today's episode moved something in you, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. You can find me on Instagram at Sydney Jocelyn. That's where I share daily reflections, creative sparks, and behind the scenes of everything I'm building. You can also explore my work offerings and retreats at sydneyjocelyn.com. You're not behind, you're becoming. And you don't have to do it all alone. We rise through it together.